Well, welcome to the final edition of From the Pits to the Purpose and Learning How to Win at Life. It's the final edition, and it's What's Your Purpose? Listen, this is going to make more sense in a minute. Let me get serious for a minute. Listen, this is the first year of Jet Life and Jet Life Ministries, and I've taken you on this journey to know how to win at life, how to pull out of the pits of life and head for your purpose. And it really is, it's going to take being a Christian for the most ultimate winning at life, like God, like Jesus died to give us. That's because the guarantees that I've been sharing with you are promises of Jesus. The recap, you can look and see, I think I printed on Facebook the editions, the series in its entirety that we went over the last 11 editions or last 10 editions, including this one. Here's the deal, if you've bitten on any of what I've shared with you, these lessons, these biblical truths each week, then you are on the road to winning in life. You are either pulled out of a pit, or you're pulling out of the pit, or bare minimum, you're at least hanging on. You finally reached out and you're touching, holding on to Jesus' hand as he's going to pull you out of a pit that you're currently in. And I don't think I have to explain what a pit is, you know. Quickly, it's hopelessness, despair, rejection, blah, 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 addictions, you name it. You could probably tell me what your pit is. Christians, though, can be in the pit too. So just because you're a Christian, don't think this isn't for you. You know, we can be in a pit, and even though we have a relationship with the Lord, we can struggle to have the victory and the full life that Jesus died to give us. We can be dealing with struggles of physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects. So what is your pit? You define it. And then what I want to do today, there's 3 parts to this ending edition, and we're going to look at King David's account, and that's where we get into this crying thing. You see, here's what he says. In Psalm 40, King David from the Bible said, I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and the mire. Can you relate? And he set my feet upon a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God, and many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. Now listen, Tom Hanks might have said in the movie A League of Their Own, there's no crying in baseball. Well, let me tell you, I've seen plenty of crying in baseball. I too, though, had Tom Hanks' mindset growing up that boys especially don't cry. And so you know where that got me? To a pit of life. That's where it got me. So when God got a hold of my heart in 1995, for the first 4 years especially of going to church, every Sunday that I was in church, I was crying because God was touching and fixing, healing my heart, if you can get what I mean. Now, looking at what King David, what we can learn from him in the psalm there is, how do we get out of the pit? Well, first of all, we're going to cry. You're going to cry out to God, to the God of the Bible. And here's the deal. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Do you really want out of the pit? Because honestly, the sad thing is this, that many people aren't willing to get out of the pit because they've gotten to a point where they're comfortable in the pit. They've been in there so long, they know nothing else. And so that's what you got to consider today. The second thing on this Psalm 40 verses 1 through 3 is believe that God is able and he's listening to you. That's what King David realized, that he will lift us out of the pit because he's able, powerful, and he's listening. And then the third thing is this, you got to be prepared to sing a new song. The joy of the Lord needs to be in your heart and grab you when he does pull you out of the pit. And so have you been around people that whine, 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 all they do is whine, and then God delivers them from their suffering and their pit, and they should be celebrating, but what are they doing? Whine, whine, whine. In racing, I would whine because I thought I did so good on my qualifying time, and I'd come in and take my seatbelts off, and my wife would run over to me all excited, and I'd say, did I get fast time? She'd say, no, you got second, isn't that great? And I'd whine because I didn't get fast time, and she said, can you ever quit whining? Now get this, in Hurricane Katrina several years ago, the Louisiana folks, our church went there 3 or 4 times, used thousands of dollars, got thousands of dollars worth of materials and went and helped and rebuild their flooded homes. And in one section of Louisiana, the homeowners would sit on the porch as they go in, as our team would go in, and walk out and fix their house, never getting out of their easy chair on the porch. And they'd actually complain in the middle of it and whine, 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 even though God is using people to deliver them out of a pit of life. Isn't that amazing? The people get pulled from the pit. They should have had a new song in their heart, yet they were singing the old song outside of the pit. So here's the deal today. Cry out for help from God. Believe that He's able and all-powerful and He's listening, and be ready to participate with God. Get this? This is sometimes our part. Do what He says to do. Go where He says to go. Go make the changes that He's telling you to make. And a lot of times it's just by reading the Bible, you'll get your instructions. And then by His Spirit, as you get to hear His voice and understand it. And then get ready to sing a new song when He delivers you. What King David realized was that God was the one that indeed rescued him, and he began singing the praises back to God, and people would hear him singing out loud and wonder what on earth is going on with this guy, and they were interested in the testimony of the real relationship that King David had with a living God. That's what this is all about. Too many Christians, including me, at times, were too busy whining about what God needs to do next, and we just missed praising Him for everything that He just did. So we too can be accused of sitting on our porches, basically, of life, and saying, "What have you done for me lately, God?" Never saying thank you for what He just did, and bragging on our God. So today, apply Psalm 40 to your life, and then tomorrow, come back and I'll talk to you over the next few days of your purpose in life. Do it.